You know, it's funny. We spend so much of our lives trying to make everything smooth, right? Trying to avoid any bumps in the road. But what if those challenges are actually where we find our real strength? Today, let's kind of dig into that idea. How the toughest parts of our journey don't just get in the way, they actually build the path forward. I mean, it's just a fact of life, isn't it? It doesn't matter who you are or where you're going. At some point, you're going to hit a snag, a challenge. It's it's just part of the deal for every single one of us.
So that brings us right to this first big idea. Every single journey has bumps. And, maybe the most important thing we can do is just accept that. Realize that these things aren't weird exceptions. They're a totally normal, totally expected part of the ride.
And look, a challenge isn't just one specific thing, right? It shows up in all these different disguises. Sometimes it's that sharp sting of failure. Or maybe it's the heavy feeling of disappointment, the deep, deep ache of losing something or someone, or even just that constant nagging uncertainty about what's coming next. And this is where we all ask ourselves that same question, right? You're trying so hard, you're doing everything you're supposed to do to move forward, and then, bam, an obstacle just pops up out of nowhere. And you're just left thinking, why? Why is this happening? It feels so frustrating and honestly just unfair. And that feeling of frustration, that's what we're going to talk about now. The sheer weight of the moment. What it feels like right when that challenge hits you. And let's be super clear here. It's okay to feel that way. When you're in the thick of it, it doesn't feel like some big, important life lesson. No way. It just feels heavy. It feels unfair. And that feeling, it's 100% real and totally understandable. And what happens next is that external problem, it turns inward, right? We start this whole spiral of self-doubt. Our brain just starts firing off questions. Did I mess up? Am I even capable of this? What is my purpose even? Gosh, it's just such a tough place to be. It can get so overwhelming that it literally feels like you've stopped moving. Like the whole journey you were on, it's just come to this sudden screeching halt. But has it really? Okay? Because asking that one little question, that's where the whole perspective starts to shift. It opens the door to something huge, the lessons that you can only learn when things aren't easy. It all boils down to this one incredible idea. Struggles carry lessons that comfort cannot teach. Yeah, an easy life is nice, of course it is, but it doesn't make you strong. The lessons that really truly shape who we are, they're almost always found in those uncomfortable moments. So what are we even talking about? What are these lessons? Well, for one, a struggle forces you to be patient. It just does. It builds up your resilience every single time you get knocked down and decide to get back up. And maybe the biggest one, it shows you a strength you have inside that you probably had no idea was even there. Seriously, think about it for a second. Think back on your own life. When were the moments you grew the most? I'd bet anything it wasn't on some easy, breezy, perfect day. It was on a day that pushed you to your limit. And you know what? When we're tested like that, something really cool happens. We start to figure out what actually matters. It's like this amazing filter for your life. Normally our heads are just full of noise, little daily worries, stuff that seems important but isn't. But when a real challenge hits, all that static just disappears. And what's left behind? The real stuff, your core values, the people who matter, your own inner strength. It's like challenges just cut through the nonsense and give you this incredible clarity. And this isn't some loud, dramatic movie montage thing. It's quiet, it's gradual. Every single time you overcome an obstacle, no matter how small, it adds another little layer to your confidence, to your wisdom. It's exactly like building a muscle, right? One rep at a time. That's how real, lasting growth happens. So over time, after we've built up that quiet confidence, we get to a point where we can actually look back. And that's where we find a whole different kind of strength. You can almost see it as a story, this whole transformative arc. It starts with what feels like the fall, right? That tough moment. Then comes the test. Can you get through it? That leads to the lesson, the aha moment of what you've learned. And all of that, it leads to the strength. And this is the big payoff, that amazing moment of realization you only get with a little distance. Looking back, you see that those moments, the ones you were sure were ruining everything, they weren't. They were actually making you stronger. They didn't end your journey, they fortified it. So what is this whole process called? Well, we can call it meaningful growth. It's basically this amazing process that takes our regular, everyday, and yeah, often difficult experiences and turns them into something precious, like wisdom and resilience. So if you boil it all down to one single thought, it's this. Life's most valuable lessons, they don't show up with a big announcement. Nope, they usually arrive disguised as the exact thing we were hoping wouldn't happen. So I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. Maybe you're in a hard chapter right now, or maybe you're looking back at one that's passed. What is that chapter? What does it teach you?